Hey guys, Andy back here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you the first video in our Nurgle Demon playlist. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to paint a Nurgle Plaguebearer. That's the basic infantry for the Nurgle Demon army, a single model in about 5 minutes to a really nice tabletop standard, something that I'd be super pleased to repeat over and over again to get the 50-60 demons that you need to paint for the army done, quick and effective. Stick around to the end of the video to see how it turns out and enjoy. So I've chosen the Plaguebearer Sergeant model, the leader of the unit, to paint up. I got him built up, some sand put on his base. I gave him a spray of black and then a zenithal of grey Seer. Now for the first colour, we're going to use Volupus Pink Contrast. We're going to use this for any of the boils and sores or any of the splits in his skin, just to put down a bit of a base coat for those sores later on, something to show through the green layer that we're going to do. So take your time, look for all of the little imperfections in his skin. With Nurgle models, there's going to be quite a few. And just add a little touch of Volupus Pink into those little imperfections. Once the Volupus Pink is in all the parts that you want it to, now we're going to move over to contrast Plaguebearer Flesh. Funny using this paint on this model, but well, if it works, it works. So this is we're going to use for pretty much an all-over coat. We're going to avoid the severed heads in his hand and his sword. We're going to leave those the grey Seer color right now. So we're just looking for all of the skin. We're going to go over the parts we did Volupus Pink before. Don't worry about that. They're quite striking colors, so they will show through the Plaguebearer Flesh, and we'll just help that skin kind of blend together a little bit better. So take your time, get a nice even coat across the demon model using the Plaguebearer Flesh. Once the Plaguebearer Flesh is on, now we're going to move over to Skeleton Horde. We are going to use this to base coat the horns, the sword, and the severed heads. It's just a really nice kind of muted beigey color, perfect to start off these particular details with. The stages on the severed head obviously will only be applicable to the sergeants. Normal Plaguebearers will not have these parts, so painting a basic infantry will even quicker than this because you can leave out the severed head painting part. It's just such a cool detail for the sergeant to have. Okay, there's all the bits done with the Skeleton Horde. Now it's time to move on to the first dry brush. The first thing I'm going to do is Nurgling Green. And we're just going to give all of the skin a light dry brush of Nurgling Green. This is going to get rid of any of the mottling that may have happened due to the contrast. And just catch all of those raised details and start to make the model pop. As you can see, I'm not being particularly careful. This is just a basic infantry model. This isn't a great unclean one or a named character. It's not a sloppy bile pipe or anything, just basic infantry, so you don't need to worry about it too much. Once you have applied that to the entire skin, then we're going to move over to the next dry brush, which is going to be a layer Deepkin Flesh. This is kind of like a really pallid color, but it does have a touch of kind of greeny blue to it. So it works really well as the final dry brush on the Nurgle skin. It will make the really fine details pop. And as you can see, I'm being super light with the dry brush. Single direction. And just catching all of those raised lines. I use this to also layer up all of the bone and the sword. So that sword was simply a coat of Skeleton Horde and then a dry brush of Deepkin Flesh. That's all I'm doing to the sword. And it looks fantastic when it's done. Perfect looking old whittled wood taken from Nurgle's garden. Of course, we're going to go over the horns, and we're also going to go over the severed heads, just to add a bit of colour to those. When that stage is dry, it should look like this. We're now going to jump over to Darkoath Flesh, and we're going to use this for the 3 severed heads. Like I said previously, normal Plaguebearers won't have this detail, so you can leave this out entirely, which will make this painting process even quicker. But yeah, just a quick base coat on all of the skin, all the severed heads in his hand. Then we're going to jump over to Snakebite Leather, and we are going to use this for the hair on the 3 severed heads. Very quick and easy step, but it will differentiate the hair from the other parts of the model. Now quickly we're going to jump over and do the only kind of fine detail that we're going to do, which is Yriel Yellow. And we're going to use this to paint the eyes. So take a fine brush. These eyes are kind of slits, so just go from left to right, across, and get them base coated. Simple, but it adds a nice bit of touch to the model. Make it look like we played a lot of effort, but we didn't. Now for the magic paint. This is Blood for the Blood God. An absolutely fantastic paint to use for all Nurgle models. Remember, their skin is broken in loads of places. It's all sore, it's all pox ridden. So adding the Blood for the Blood God into any of the parts that were Volupus Pink before is going to make those bits pop. If you had have done the Blood for the Blood God straight over the Nurgling Flesh, it wouldn't look as good. It would show through that it's quite pale underneath. With the Volupus Pink, it makes it really nice and vibrant. It makes the blood really stand out. Inside his rotten mouth. It's a really simple step that makes it appear as though we put loads of effort in. And once that's done, all you need to do is base your miniature, and the final result should be something like this. So this is a basic Plaguebearer infantry model. I'd say there's less than 5 minutes of actual brushwork, especially if you take out the severed head step. So it's a very easy and achievable thing to do for an entire demon army. I really hope you guys liked this video, this tutorial. There will be 5 other videos in the tutorial showing you how to paint the entire Nurgle demon range. If you're excited to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and maybe hit the bell button so you get notifications for my videos. And drop me a comment below if you have any questions on anything you saw in the video here today. And I will see you guys in the next video.